Hiya Phil, 11 games into the season, 6 in the table, won 7, drew 1, lost 3. You must be pleased with that start.
Yeah, pleased and disappointed. Obviously, you know we've come quite a long way really since we went into admin a couple of years ago. But I think we've started this season pretty well. You know, and we're learning our lessons as we go along. I think that we've got a lot more to give yet.
Already had some highs and lows. The disappointment of what happened in the final stages of the Cambridge game, but then the reaction of the team the following week up at Tynedale. You must be looking for a bit more of that on Saturday.
I think so. I think that you know, there's certain things you can control in the game, and refereeing decisions aren't one of them. And I think that's a lesson we've all learned. As I say, we're learning these lessons as we go along. But as I say, it wasn't the referee that missed the tackles, and it wasn't the referee that scored the try. So we've had to look at what we can control, and we control the controllables, will be fine. But going forward, we've got a lot of good games coming up, and you know, if somebody have offered this position in the league 6 months ago, we'd have probably taken it as we stand. When
I talked to you at the beginning of the season, we talked about some of the defensive frailties of last year. One of the referees actually said after the, I think it was the Roslyn Park game, probably the best defence he'd seen in the league. However, Saturday our defence wasn't quite up to it.
Yeah, once again, you look at that game on Saturday against Fylde, and really we were controlling the game to a large extent in the first half, and we should have gone in winning. I think we went in at 12-9 down, and I genuinely thought we'd come out and do a lot better in the second half. But we met a set of circumstances really where, you know, Fylde were on fire. We had a referee that didn't particularly do us any favours when we were trying to jackal the ball on the floor. They missed 3 knock-ons. We've got an inexperienced back division, you know, and it was really a perfect storm in many ways for us. But 40 minutes is by no way going to lay heavy on what we've done and achieved so far as a team. We learn by these things, as I say. The big thing for us is that we just push through that. We can't. You know, we touched on it on Tuesday, but 40 minutes is not going to destroy what's been a good season so far for us.
The forward unit's been playing well. However, you lost Jamie Miller after the Sedgley Park game. You lost Matt Tibbetts after a training session the other week. But you brought in some new faces that weren't forced changes. Is that an indication of the depth in the squad we have for this season?
Yeah, I think so. Adi Hubble came on board, and we've got Bruce Thomas back now, who was on loan at Luctonians. In fact, he was stuck on work commitments, so he wasn't really available to us. These guys are now coming to contention. You failed to mention Gareth Turner there, who broke his leg and who's also would have figured for us this year. So it's strange how these things go. First of all, you've got 8 back rowers here, and then you've got 2. We're talking still. You know, we've still got links with Saints, of course, and the other senior clubs in the area. Spoke to Neil McCarthy the other day from Leicester, who's helping us out a little bit. So yeah, I mean, some of these forced changes we have to deal with them as a squad, and I think the Roslyn Park performance was a win for the squad. But you know, we're having to cope now without all the experienced players that we had here and we have signed in the summer. You know, without Luke Maring and Ben Russell, particularly Jamie Miller and Matt Tibbetts in the back row. You know, really you're starting to lose a little bit of experience in there, which is what's been holding it together. There's no shortage of effort and commitment. It's basically organisation we lack when some of these guys aren't available to us. But as a squad, we've got to come through that and learn from it.
As you say, the backs have been playing their part, and with Luke leading from the front, really, his experience and influence on the pitch has been invaluable. But his injury, how much of a difference did that make to our performance on Saturday?
Difficult to gauge, really.
Yeah.
I think that as I say, it was a perfect storm. Inexperienced players, all of a sudden, you know, that they'd spotted that they could get around us a little bit. Referee not helping us too much, and our heads went down a little bit in a period of that game. But I think that, you know, losing Luke hasn't helped, obviously. But you know, with him and Luke, with Ben Russell and Luke in the side, you know, Ben controls the back 3 well and talks all the time to up front, and then Luke controls the midfield, and that control and influence is important to us. But I say that, you know, that you've got to look at we won against Roslyn Park without them, and we may have to do that again in the future. So it's all a learning curve, really.
One of the things we struggled with last year was kicking. And Luke's come in and, you know, was slotting everything over. But then Mark O'Connor's had to come into the side and take up the duties, and has been doing an excellent job. Yeah,
Mark was recommended to me by Dick Best, the old England coach down in London, who kicked it on. He came from the Ulster Academy, and you know, he's been unlucky really that Luke has been kicking the goals, and sort of Benny has been pretty experienced at 15 and done a good job. But he's come in and to the side and he's taken his chance well. I think, like all young players, there are areas of his game that he needs to work on that we're constantly talking about and working on in our practice sessions. But to rock up and just I think he's about 100% with his goal kicking. He's as much as in league games, and so you've got to say that that part of his game is a tremendous asset to us. And to have two kickers, one in the wings and one up front, and now another guy that's taken over, and to go perfect in 2 games, it's pretty good, really.
We've talked about the number of injuries we've got, but Jeff Gregson's just come back. He's played 5 bit parts, scored twice, and also we've now got Tommy Harris back on the training paddock. To the mountain, after the mountain injury list, it must be good to see these boys coming back.
Well, it's great. It's a bit of a lift for the squad as well. It's a long season, 30 odd league games. Plus your pre-season, you're touching on 35 games a year, which is a lot of rugby at any level, and especially this one, which is such a competitive division. But you get your ups and downs in a squad, and one of the big ups for us is Jeff's back in. Although he's not playing as well as he'd like to, by his own admission, he's getting back into it. And Jeff and Tom, of course, will give the side a lift. I mean, the point has to be raised. I think they've scored 140 tries between them in the last 3 years, and something like 40 for us last year. So it's a cutting edge we have missed, and we can't deny that. But looking the way Heath and young Andy Murray has played on the wing for us this year, I think you can't take anything away from those guys. They've put in some great performances, and as we stand this year, they've been involved in every win we've had.
If I had any criticism of the way we played this year, one of the things we failed to do is close games out. Would you say that's a fair criticism?
I'd say that's a fair criticism. You're looking on balance. We sort of get in front, and it is frustrating. We let sides back at us. Last year we sort of let sides get in front, and then we come back to them. I remember down in Redruth, 30 points down, 20 odd points here against Wharfdale. Sort of coach killers, and then we'd bounce back routinely and win the games, and leave all breathless. But I think that's what you get with a young group of players. We know that we work on areas that we can control, and shutting down a game that we in a tight situation is one we have addressed as a group, and will come. As I say, the average age of the backs on Saturday was 20 and 3 months. It's just not. It's young, and we can't keep using that as an excuse. But it's not an excuse; it's a reason that we are where we are. But if we can keep this young group of players working hard and play with the confidence that we've played with most of this season, then there's nobody in this league that's safe.
Saturday we go into a game with Birmingham Solihull, an old enemy. How confident are we going into this game? How do you feel?
Yeah, I went to watch Bees last Sunday. Beat Doncaster, not Doncaster, sorry, Macclesfield. They played well. They've got a very effective front 5. I think they'll be improving. Their back rows improving week on week. Jack Priest gets his head over the ball and plays really well, and they've got an effective, pretty much effective game plan that can damage